Hey guys, I'm Prince Jules NYC. I live in New York City, and welcome to my channel. I'm a 26-year-old young profesh, wannabe socialite, and up-and-coming fashion icon, as you can tell from this shirt. So today I'm gonna tell you how I got a job at Google after I got rejected at Google. I've been at Google now for over 5 years, so it'll be about 6 years in September. I work at Google in New York City, but the application process was certainly an emotional roller coaster. So if you wanna hear more about it, then keep on watching. Okay, so the setting is my senior year of college. This was my fall semester of my senior year of college. I still had no idea what I wanted to do after I graduated. Understandably very nervous during this time. I studied economics. So as you can imagine, the fields I was considering were the pretty standard fields you would expect. Consulting, investment banking, finance, tech. The only problem I had was I had probably sent in several hundreds of applications. I had probably at least 100 job interviews, but 0 job offers. I annoyed several people on LinkedIn asking if there was anything available or if they would make the time to speak with me. I was very stressed. I applied online to Google back in December of that year. So the fall semester of my senior year. I was scheduled to graduate in May of the following year. I applied online beginning of December, absolutely not expecting to hear back. 3 weeks later, I heard back. I was being considered for a role in our people operations team, which is Google speak for human resources. And I was super excited about it and so grateful to even be considered by a company like Google. So the recruiter reached out and my first step was having a phone screen with her. We had a phone screen, it went pretty well. The role seemed really interesting, definitely an entry-level role within this organization. So my next step was 2 phone interviews. So at this point, I'm like, wow, this is going well. I think this is gonna be it for me. I had the 2 interviews, great conversations, obviously sent my little thank you emails after I wrapped up those interviews. And great news, I was offered to come in for an on-site interview in the headquarters in Mountain View, California. This all happened within the space of maybe a month and a half. So by the end of January, I was being flown to California to go interview in person. I went in for the on-site interviews, thought they went pretty well. I was really confident afterwards. In my head, I thought, I've got this. 100%, I'm getting this. Google is it. I'm gonna work here. I'm gonna be in people operations. Done. Where's my offer? After the fact, obviously, sent thank you emails to everyone involved. Waited about 24 hours, sent another email to the recruiter separately just to reiterate how excited I was about the role and how much I wanted to work there. She replied and asked me to hop on the phone. She informed me that unfortunately I didn't get it. So, as you can imagine, I was very upset. At this point, I'd probably had 70 or 80 rejections. It was rejection after rejection after rejection, and it was really an awful time. I don't recommend it for anyone. So I moved on. I was really fearful of my future. One of my biggest fears was moving back with my parents with no job after an economics degree. This really was a low point. So I had graduated with this degree in economics, and I, at this point, had moved back home with my parents and did not have a job. Now, it was about June. This, at this point, was maybe about 6 months since Google. I got an email that said, hey, we have a different role. Is this something you potentially would be interested in? My heart at this point was up to here. I was very skeptical. At this point, I'd been beaten down by so many rejections and so many interviews I thought I nailed, but apparently did not. So this was a different role within the business organization. I went ahead, had another phone screen. That went well and everything checked out. She thought I had good experience for the role. I went on to have 2 phone interviews. At this point, I'm like, okay, sounds familiar. I don't know if this is gonna go anywhere. The phone interviews went well. Next step was being invited on site. For this role, different location, it was for our Ann Arbor office location. Now, I had no relation to Ann Arbor, never been there, barely maybe even heard of it, but it was Google and I wasn't in a position to say no. Similar to the last time, I had 2 sets of in-person interviews. I thought they went kind of okay, so at that point I gave up. I assumed I wasn't gonna get the roles. This was just gonna be another disappointment. I sent the thank you emails anyway. This role I truly was interested in. So I think I showed a little bit more enthusiasm in my thank you email. Didn't hear back from the recruiter. Day 1, day 2, no emails back. Day 3, no emails back. Probably took about a week before I sent an email to check in. Again, she emailed, let's hop on the phone. And she actually gave me really good news. She said, actually, we're moving forward with your offer. We just need to do a few different checks, but things are looking good. At that point, my heart is racing. I've never come this close before, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed and praying. I get the call, probably another week from then, that I got it. Certainly there were tears involved. I was so happy, and I was starting about a month later. Think about it, from the beginning of when I applied in December to when I got an offer in August was about 9 months. So really long time. If there's any learning from this story, it's don't give up. Just keep trying and do your best and hope for the best. Thank you for sticking with me this long. I'm really glad you joined. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one. Period.